What's up, Nilla? Do you want to go outside? That's what I thought. Okay. Good morning. So, we're going to do a little bit of testing here today. Beautiful, overcast, rainy Sunday morning. Oh, I have like Sunday cataracts. What's going on here? So, as suggested, we're going to try turning off effects to kind of see if I can recognize any differences in driving the car, how the car feels, if I can pick out any nuance. I suppose is the whole point of the exercise, or just to make it easier to focus on the things I intentionally want to focus on, whatever that may be. Brake pressures, straight line braking, light hands. I mean, a lot of these things, some of these things should be more subconscious, but probably more subconscious for more seasoned drivers, skilled drivers. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of get back into the normal swing of things here. I'll run a few laps. With my normal setup, with everything on, what I'm used to, and then I'll shut everything down, which means my seat mover, my G seat, my shakers, which are 4-corner haptics. I have 2 on the seat frame under, so this is a seat mover system. It's not a full motion. The whole rig doesn't move around. The seat just pivots on a universal joint. 4 aft, left and right. A little bit of roll as the car rolls, a little bit of dive as the car brakes, a little bit of squat as the car accelerates. And this is a Sim Experience GS5 G seat as well. So there are 2 paddles beneath the cushioning, obviously. 2 paddles on the back, 2 paddles under my legs that press up and against my back. Left side, left leg, right leg. Under certain handling effects. So, you know, you're turning right, or yeah, you're turning right, you're really loading up the one side. The seat rolls to the left, and I have passive belts too, so, and they're crisscrossed. So when I turn right, the whole seat will roll to the left, right, to simulate that outward centripetal force, which also will snug up my right belt or my left belt, so you get even more of an effect. And then also the lower left and the upper left panels on the G seat will engage, or they will start to push out, so I get a little bit more effect on the left side. And I think you can see that if you've ever watched me drive, is that I have a tendency to like lean into turns. I think a lot of people do that, whether they have motion or not. It becomes kind of an instinctive motion, or you have a tendency to kind of do this, right, with the steering wheel. At any rate, there is a lot going on, and I have a 4-corner shaker system, so I have 2 shakers on the mounted to, and I just changed these recently. I printed all new mounts. I had them on the frames of my modified TR120, and I didn't feel like the effect was direct enough. Just too far away, especially the way this seat is mounted. Basically, everything goes, all vibrations basically have to go through that universal joint. So I moved the back ones to the actual seat frame itself. So I have a clear, very clear, defined left versus right. Most notably when I go over rumble strips. So, and it's just an added cue that I have the car placed where I want the car placed, not only visually, but that really lets me know, okay, it looks like my left tires are on that strip, but if I don't feel it, I'm probably not there. I'm probably not over as far as I need to be or want to be. Same thing for the fronts, but they are attached to my, you can't really see it, like it's right here actually, that little, can't see it very well. And then the other one is sort of hidden behind the clutch, but there's a vertical mount or a vertical extrusion that kind of goes up there forward of this whole platform here, and then they're mounted like this. It's a little, the fronts are a little less defined left and right, just because I don't know, there's probably some way that I could probably create more definition. I had an idea about that, but that's another topic for another day. But I definitely get forward haptics from the suspension. So anyways, yes, there is a lot of effects going on, and then there's a shaker. You can actually see it right there, mounted to the back of the brake pedal. That's the Sim Experience, or I'm sorry, the SimMagic. And this is HPD doesn't have ABS, and that's the only effect that I use on that device, so that's not doing anything anyways in this car. So sort of irrelevant. So plan is go out, run a few laps, get comfortable again, and kind of get into my range. What do we got here? What kind of conditions do we have? It is, I think I set it for 11 o'clock in the morning, so this would be like a mid-race for the quarter mile 1000. Track temperature of 101 Fahrenheit, 78-degree air temp. So getting warm, but not super hot. I would expect to be able to run like probably 35s or something like that. So run a few laps, get comfortable with the car again, and then turn everything off, and then run a good amount of laps and really just kind of see what, if I can pick out anything, if it helps me focus. Now, obviously this is going to be just a very short-term test. I think ultimately I would probably want to do a significant amount of running with everything off, maybe for like a week of just that, and then go back to turning it on, for just added opportunity and comfort and trying to be able to pick up on things. I am not the quickest learner either, so I don't really know what to expect here. I have sporadically over the years driven with motion turned off, and it has happened accidentally sometimes, which is why I have a button map to turn it back on, or turn the data effect on and off. Every once in a while it'll just go to nothing, and in the middle of a race it's weird. It's really weird. Like, you go from just all this stuff, and I've always said that you subconsciously, because I don't consciously use any of these effects as cues or timing cues or as indicators in any sense to drive. I don't use any of those forces or any of those effects in any way. consciously. But I would 100% say that subconsciously I do. I don't know that I am. I don't think about them. I'm not waiting for them. I'm not expecting them. Or I guess I am expecting it. Yes, that's probably fair to say. But I don't consciously utilize them. But I do get accustomed to it. So when it goes away, it does make driving difficult at first. But I can get used to it. I've never noticed any significant change of pace from running it off, but I've never really spent a significant amount of time doing it. I've had this motion system for several years now. I'm trying to think when I first built it. Probably like 2019, something like that maybe. Back when I had a wood rig. Yes, I had a motion on a wood rig. It can be done. And it was not significantly, actually it wasn't any different than this, as far as this type of motion is concerned. Anyways, let's get to it. Turn off this preview. I kind of wish this would probably be a better video if you could actually like hear the shakers, which I don't think that my microphone, my headset microphone picks up. If I had the audio and the cameras turned on, it would probably pick those up, because they can be quite loud sometimes. That's definitely probably the loudest thing that can be heard in other parts of my house, is when the shakers are really going over really aggressive rumble strips and whatnot. But regardless, let's do a little shakedown here. Tires. Oopsie. Oopsie. So I guess this is first gear. Okay, well it's not now. So I have been taking that in second gear, and I think it's maybe between getting back to the gas and maybe the braking zone up here at 10 is probably worth maybe half a tenth. It's not significant, I don't think, but probably something that I need to incorporate. And I haven't been running first gear there either. Anyways, let's just get comfortable. I don't know why I have so much shaker effect going on the street like that. haven't had enough coffee. That's my excuse. Oh, you know what? I forgot. I've been used to running traction 3. So, looks like you have to wait till second full lap to go flat there. Man. Nope, you gotta do it late. I forgot. That's way too early. You don't go down to first until way late. I don't like that. Man, it really takes me a while to warm up in this car. Damn it. Oh, behind on the steering. Jesus. Not sure what I'm doing there. I'm probably gonna have to do like 10 laps to get back into the cruiser. I don't think going to fourth there is worth anything. Ugh. What the hell, muscle? That was a little bit unusual. Really struggling with that today for some reason. Ah, nope. Anybody want to tell me what I did there? I knew that was coming. Just really not. I definitely do not have. Yeah, this is probably not the greatest. I'm gonna turn back way too late. Well, I'm doing a lot of experimenting here. So really need to get back on the horse here. So I'm not running particularly consistent laps here, but that was a bit close. Lost everything that I gained. I mean, the whole first gear thing there is, I don't know, that's a struggle for me. Okay, so here we go. Everything's off. No shakers, no motion.
ahead, you cut the cord.
I know that, thank you. Okay, so it's... Okay, so right off the bat, it's like I'm playing a different game. Like, it's alien. The brake pressures that I need seem later. Damn it. Didn't break enough. The long corners in particular feel even more awkward. One of these days I'm going to figure out how to do that. Turn one without going off track. Ugh. It felt really weird there. I don't even know how to describe it. No idea. No idea. Can't even begin to tell you what I did there. I can tell you how incredibly unentertaining this is. So it's like I forgot where my marker is there or something. Which I'm pretty sure that there was something over to the left I was looking for. Was it one of the orange things? Well, at least that time I knew what I did wrong. Frustrating. Maybe there's a story to be told here, though. I mean, there definitely is. There's no doubt about that. Just maybe a different story than I intended to tell. Oops. also these tires have been kind of got hot, got cool, got hot, got cool. Nope. Jesus Christ. Needs more of a lift. Yeah, you stop for 10 seconds and the rear tires are like, frick you! Maybe you could learn from this, dummy. God, this whole, so somehow it would seem that I can't drive. That's what it would seem like.
Gonna need some rubber shortly. Take it easy.
Are they that bad, actually? I guess I've spun out about 1,000,000 times, so. Yeah. That's pathetic. All right. New tires. No effects. I feel like that. No, you know, Cairo was doing one click forward on brake bites. I guess I didn't realize how bad those tires were. No, you can't. Fuck! So, like... like you anticipate a little bit of understeer at that little moment. But if you try to try to do too much with it, dump in a little bit more steering than you should. Probably too shallow of an entry. Garbage. Fighting it. Okay, so we're how many laps on this? Probably like 13. Too late to the steering. That's just wrecking the entire corner. slowed, obviously. And that's jumping on the brakes too fast. Partially being out of rhythm as well. Last one for a minute. God damn it. No. Need a mark for that corner. Interesting. A different approach. This car is just like F you if I get it a little bit out of shape. Alright, so probably a good time to reflect. I'm hot. Oops. Okay. Did I pick up on anything? I mean, I way more inconsistent. Like, I would have to do this for probably at least a couple hours just to find the same consistency. And I feel like interestingly enough, you would think I actually sort of feel like the opposite of what I was expecting, or what somebody might expect of this type of experiment would illustrate, is that with less distractions, it would be easier to focus on fundamental stuff. But I found it really difficult actually to focus. I mean, even my first stint wasn't particularly fascinating by any stretch of the imagination. Lots of errors with the motion. And honestly, a lot of that is Sunday morning. I haven't eaten anything yet. Sometimes that does affect my ability to focus. But regardless, this feels worse. The fast lap is, I think, is irrelevant here. I don't know. It's very interesting. It's almost like, and I wonder if it's a me thing, where my tendency to, I don't know. Sometimes I overthink stuff. Actually, I overthink stuff a lot. That's probably not the case here, because I struggle with real-time adjustment, decision making when it comes to the handling aspect of the car anyways. I didn't find it any easier at all, in fact. And it makes sense that it would be more difficult because it's not what I'm accustomed to. So it's really hard to actually provide feedback that's not biased. It's basically impossible, actually, if you think about it. But I don't feel like it opened up any like lanes for information. I don't feel that way. Yeah, I don't know. It's really hard to put into words. It's just harder. It's harder because it's not what I'm used to. But and that's not surprising. But what is surprising is I thought maybe that I would pick up on some stuff. There were some weird oddities that I did notice. But only when only like during mistakes or something like that where, and they're too not consistent enough. It's not, I can't say, okay, well, I broke traction here and the steering felt a little odd that I've never noticed before, because those are like sort of like one-off scenarios only in this particular circumstance, which I think the goal of this is really to look at all of the driving, the feel of the steering all the time in conjunction with what I see. Is there anything that I can pick up on that I don't notice with all the additional effects? And no, there's nothing, certainly nothing significant stands out. And I didn't really even see anything, or nothing really even stood out that was even minor that I didn't notice, or that I don't notice with all the other effects. Tire sounds might be easier to focus on, and maybe in the long run, like if I really decided, okay, I'm gonna do no effects for like a month or something like that, like if I could dial my driving in. But at that point, it's kind of like, what's the actual benefit? Is there enough of a difference it would almost seem like the concept of asking whether the juice is worth the squeeze. You know, if I have to spend that much time and effort just to get too accustomed to this static platform, to find even the most minute details noticeable, yes, I guess in theory, at a certain level of performance, that those details matter. But I'm not there. I'm not half a second off of top times. I'm a second and a half. If there's something that I'm missing here in conjunction with that, I would think that it would be something that I could pick up on relatively easily in 15 or 20 laps. And I just didn't really notice anything. But it's a hard test because it's new and it feels different. It's awkward. I just don't know if there's anything there. I don't know. I just don't. If it's that hard to pick up on with no distractions, we'll call it, then are the distractions actually distractions? I guess that's really what we're looking at. Let's turn it back on. And for shits and giggles, see if let me get a new car. Actually, big lockup. I can see that late first gear jump. Yeah, I broke too late. Giddy up. See if I can keep this one under 0.9. Oh, nope, 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 nope. That ain't gonna do it. I got a tenth and a half to make up. This is gonna work. This is called overdriving the car. You kind of have to let the car wash out a little bit there. Man, that corn's hard. It's 118 degrees now. It's quite a bit warmer than when I started. That likes. See, that's too much. Okay, anyways. Ugh. Too aggressive, traction control kicked in. Fuck. Hello, understeer. So I am like 10 laps or so into this. The tires just aren't gonna do. And I've had too many of them. No, I like it later. It's definitely more predictable. Oh. Yeah, I tried to get a little too aggressive with it. Okay. I mean, make with that what you will, I suppose. But Um, I don't know where I started it. It's probably in here somewhere. Oh yeah, I think it was like around lap 10 or 11 is when I started. So I had a couple good ones. And then I just really struggled to... These were okay, kind of slow for me. It did start getting hotter, so this is probably reasonable. Anyways, at the end of the day, I would say that there's not a whole lot of gains for me to turning off distractions. If it were that much of a distraction, I feel like anything that I would pick up on, should pick up on, would be significantly more evident, significantly quicker. I don't know. I'll take motion all day and every day because I don't know. One, it's significantly more entertaining. Um, it's just the experience is definitely far more intuitive in some manners, significantly more intuitive. I don't know. I don't think the distractions are the limitations, and really the shakers are almost irrelevant. Like they're just little cues, they're kind of fun to have. Um, Bouncing around, kind of knowing what the suspension's doing. I mean, I've broken very thick 3D printed um, mounts from the shakers going crazy trying to get a broken F4 out of the pits. Nope, we broke parts, just like in a real car. Anyways, yeah, I don't know. I don't. If there's any advantage, it's not even remotely close to being instantly obvious. How much work to put into it to find the nuance? I feel like I could find it with the same amount of effort with all of the stuff on. That's what I think. Your mileage may vary.